It may seem like just a chart, a place to document, but our patient charts are workhorses. In this module, you'll hear about our charts and the information in our charts. The chart is the major way we are telling the story of each patient visit at Clinic with a Heart. Our charts begin with 4 basic forms: the demographic form, which has information we use to understand a patient's circumstances better, the health history form, the exam form, and finally the discharge worksheet. These are the most common forms used during a patient visit. Once a week, a volunteer in the office prepares patient files. Some of the patient paperwork is put in folders, and these are used when new patients come to the clinics. Some of the patient paperwork is paper-clipped together. These are used when patients return to the clinic and already have a chart. Each time a patient comes to Clinic with a Heart, they do the paperwork. The paperwork for new and returning patients is kept in the patient waiting room. Along the way, many other papers can be added to the patient chart. This includes papers that the patient brings related to their visit, referral forms, progress notes, or special exam forms like Health and Human Services and school physicals. These forms are added in the area that they're needed. As patients are discharged during the clinic, their records are taken to the volunteer check-in desk. That volunteer gets the papers organized in a consistent fashion and then scans the documents into a PDF format. The files are named with the patient's last and first name. The files are kept in a special shared folder on the computer. This folder also backs up into a secure web-based cloud drive. After scanning the records, the papers are also stapled together. Each set of stapled papers in a chart represents a visit to the clinic. The day after clinic, a volunteer comes to the clinic and reviews each patient file. This volunteer coordinates referrals and faxing. For all the major referrals, we fax a copy of the patient record to that referral source. Our major referral sources to whom we fax are the 360 program, advanced medical imaging, mental health providers who will see patients into their office, and for dental referrals, the County Health Department and People's Health Center. Another thing that happens the day after clinic is a volunteer updates the patient visit log on the patient chart. Each chart has this log on the inside page. The visit log tells how many times the patient has been to the clinic and for what service. This log is how we can tell if a patient is reaching their maximum number of medical visits in a 12-month period. The volunteer also writes the clinic date on the outside of the chart. This data is used to help us when we clean out the file drawers. If a paper chart has not been used for 12 months or more, we shred the contents. Throughout the month, we get requests for medical records. These requests come from many different sources, including disability determination, medical homes, lawyers, and many other sources. We fax our records electronically using a service called myfax.com. As we grow and our patient records become more complicated, the faxing activities continues to increase. We are able to fax using the scanned files. The faxing we do is one of the reasons it's so important to have the patient's name on the front and back of each page in the chart. While we do not have an electronic health record at this time, we do use a program called Practice Fusion to house our patient records. This is a free, open-source electronic health record that allows us to keep an individual's records all in one place. Clinic with a Heart uses this resource right now as a document library. It is a great tool to be able to search for a patient by their first name, last name, or birthday. During the week, several volunteers come into the office and do data entry from the patient charts. This data is used to keep track of our service levels and to prepare reports for grants and for the board of directors. We also do regular audits of our charts to see how we are doing. A volunteer audits charts on an ongoing basis. We're looking for some basic pieces of information including patient name and date of birth, signatures, completeness. The chart tells a story of the patient's visit, and the chart represents our patients in a dignified manner. That gives you some idea of what happens to a chart at Clinic with a Heart. The chart travels down a long and winding road and helps us to serve our patients.